DDG, for you, like, you know, I know you had the family unit, but some people would consider that non-traditional. So like, just share how you kind of navigate that.
I mean, it's really like, I feel like it really doesn't affect the parenting. You know, I feel like,
you know, if you speaking on
Oh, yo, I thought you, bro, I was like, what's happening right now? Yo, what? Yo, I thought you was dead serious just now. Like, I'm looking at niggas like, yo, what's going on? So last episode of For the Fellas, we were standing on excellence. This episode, we are taking it back to where it all began and celebrating the excellence of Black fathers. I'm your host, Brian McIntosh, and I'm here with some fellas who exemplify that on a daily. First up, we have someone who has made us laugh and cry on the big screen for years. He's an actor, model, businessman, and one of the lead actors on Tyler Perry's House of Pain. Most importantly, he went to the real HU, that is Howard University, in case you didn't know. The one and only Mr. Lance Gross, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
How you feeling, my man?
Good, man. Blessed to be here.
Absolutely, man. We appreciate you being here, Black man. We appreciate it. Next up, we have one of the leaders of the new school. He's a platinum recording artist, entrepreneur, and has been a trailblazer of his generation with becoming one of the biggest YouTube superstars with over 1 billion streams. And he was recently listed in Forbes 30 under 30 for its impact in music. The one and only DDG.
What's up,
good,
man?
brother?
Good,
appreciate
good.
you being here, Black man.
Of course.
Last but certainly not least, this man has been a superstar and business mogul since he was a teenager. He's an actor, comedian, television host, Emmy Award-winning producer, and not to mention, he is the creator of VH1's Wildin' Out, legendary Nick Cannon.
E-Mac, my
Dog.
God.
Hey, listen, appreciate it. Hey, listen, we got to intro our people right here, BT. You know what I'm saying?
You did that.
Absolutely.
Class of civilization. I feel it.
For sure, man. So we're going to get into it all here on For the Fellas. We're going to talk Black fatherhood, love, mental health. Most importantly, man, I don't know about y'all, but I think being a father for me, man, makes me feel like a superhero. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I appreciate about Walmart and this Black Unlimited program, is highlighting Black fathers and the superheroes that we are. So I'm curious, I want to go around the room. Tell me, what's your superpower as a father?
My superpower?
Yeah, your superpower.
My son 5 months, you know, so.
You fresh in this thing,
Yeah, I think right now is my main job is just keeping him alive, you know, getting his bottle ready. But, you know, I don't know, I feel like, even though he can't talk and all of that yet, but I feel like we got a connection where I'm able to make him laugh, you know, I'm able to make him smile and stuff like that. So I feel like that's my superpower as a dad.
Nah, for sure. Nick, how you feel?
Oh, man, that's a great question. I would probably say compassion, you know, mixed with empathy, you know, being able to feel and know that in my imperfections, I feel for them and hopefully they feel the same for me. So that spreads so deeply, but as a father, you understand, like, we're aligned and in tune that way that, you know, you'll give the world for your kids. So that compassion is probably my superpower.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I'm the big kid. That's my superpower. And it's funny you said superpowers because I looked at my dad like a superhero. So I follow his blueprint, you know, and just providing everything that I can for my kids. That's my superpower.
Nah, for sure, man. I think for me, man, my superpower, man, is just being unlimited in everything. Like, I really give my all to my child. Like, so like time, I cherish that, you know what I'm saying? So I'm always trying to maximize my time with my child. You know, we all travel, we're all working, we all catching flights in the morning, right? So I'm thinking maximizing my time and make sure I'm just unlimited in what I give my child. I just try to make sure I'm conscious of that every moment I cherish like it's my last. Lance, I know for you, when you first had your first child, you were like filming for like the Bobby Brown story and House of Pain. So like, speak to that journey.
It's crazy because I actually turned down a dream job of mine that I really wanted, but they couldn't promise me that I could be back in LA to witness the birth of my child. You know, it was just too close. So for me, it was an easy decision. You know, I couldn't miss it. You know what I mean? And I turned it down, and I was there for my daughter's birth, and it was the happiest time of my life, man. Like, I don't regret it at all. You know, I haven't looked back. But yeah, them things, it's just important to me. I gotta see that. Especially my first.
Nah, for sure. How do you balance everything with your career and trying to show up as a parent?
You know, you just do the best you can, especially like I work in Atlanta a lot, but I also like to travel a lot, you know what I mean? So my off days, either I bring the family to me or I go to the family, you know what I mean? So my weekends, it's nothing for me to get on a flight, spend a couple of hours, whatever I could give to them, I try to pour into them because it's important.
For sure, for sure. DDG, man, I know you got a lot going on right now. You know what I'm saying? You have a young son. So just speak to how you're showing up for your son and, you know, showing up for your career.
It'd be tough sometimes, you know, like, cause I be moving around a lot, like, my schedule is everywhere. So like, I might be chilling at home one day and then tomorrow I might have to go to Atlanta, you know, I might have to go to Seattle or something like that. I don't really have like a set schedule or somebody telling me, hey, you gotta be here and there. I kind of make up my own thing as I go. I have a lot of time on my hands to be with my kids, so that's a blessing. And I can kind of work from home. So, you know, it's kind of like, it's hard, but it really ain't.
Yes,
you know, it's just about, cause nobody knows what my son look like. So it's, when I'm making content with him or, you know what I'm saying? You know the little funny content I be doing with him. It's like, I gotta make it to where it's still like cool to watch, but it's also like not giving too much. That's the only hard part, but other than that, like, I have a lot of time on my hands to be with my son.
Nah, that's a blessing. That's a blessing. That's what I appreciate about BET, letting me work remote. I'm able to be with my child a lot. I'm able to travel back and forth from Atlanta to North Carolina and be with him. But sometimes that time isn't enough for my son, right? Like yesterday when I was coming to the airport, he was upset. He's like, why do you always have to work? You know what I'm saying? He's 6. He's not understanding the work I'm putting in and how that's gonna pay off later for the things that he wants, all the toys, the trips he gets to go on. He's not understanding that all he wants is time. So Nick, when it comes to like that career and just balancing things, I know you have to share a lot of time with your kids. So just kind of speak to your career and how you balance that, but then also kind of sharing the time with your kids too that you got to sacrifice.
I mean, time is our greatest asset. It's the thing that, you know, once you spend it, you can never get back. And again, it's probably qualitative more than quantitative. So the more you can take those experiences and create core memories. I always say, like, I got great time management, but I have better energy management. So when you understand that, again, as much as we value what we call time, it still is a man-made entity. So, you know, like say things like, you know, time flies when you're having fun. That's a real thing to where you can see that process of, especially when you're dealing with children, we may not pay attention to it, but you know, something that seems so small can last a lifetime in their psyche. So I really try to pay attention to, it's not about the amount of time, it's about what you do with that time. So, and again, like I said, if we're looking in a linear base, you know, spread thin. But if you look in a spiritual base, it's like, yo, we're really trying to dive in and give them those core memories, those things that, I will always remember this time with my father opposed to the actual time.
Now that's a fact. That's a fact, and I love that answer. And I guess to follow up with that, you balance everything well, bro.
Yeah,
I listen. I gotta give you credit, man.
I'm a Libra. I balance well.
Hey, listen. That brother be on TV. He securing business deals. You be with the kids, man. I love that, man. It's inspiring to see. But I gotta ask, just being honest, 'cause I think we all deal with this in our journey with fatherhood, bro. Yeah. Is it ever any frustrations? We balancing a lot, bro. You know what I'm saying? From the day to day, then you still gotta show up for your children. Is it ever any point where you're just kind of feeling overwhelmed or just frustrated?
100%. And then that's what I mean, like, even I honor you brothers right now, just sitting here and even having this discussion and really, you know, being open and vulnerable in a safe space to even talk about things like that. Because we'd be fronting if we said we don't get frustrated or we're not influenced by outside energy. So, I mean, I'll be the first to be like, man, this stuff gets hard, you know? And I think to be able to say that is not only healing for us, but for other people that are consuming the content. So, I mean, every day, every step, it's a challenge, you know what I mean? But I accept the challenge, and that's the beauty of fatherhood. Like, there's nothing easy about any of it, whether you got 1 kid or 100 kids. It's always gonna be something that is taking you away, because it's the most selfless act that you can become is becoming a parent. So in that process, you shift your priorities, and it get every decision you like, I could do this, but I gotta do that. And you know, like, so whether it's decisions from work, from personal life, like it gets frustrating at that level for me, because I'm such a thinker, I'm such a processor, like, all right, well, if I do this, how is that gonna affect this? So I'm constantly frustrated throughout the day, because I wanna be able to be, you know, that superhero for everyone, but because, you know, creating that balance, you know, I think that's the weight that a father holds.
For sure. How do you cope with it?
Prayer, meditation, you know what I mean? Really understanding that I'm not gonna be perfect. And like, Lance said, man, as long as you're doing your best, as long as you close your eyes at night and be like, I gave it my all today, and hopefully the Lord gives me another opportunity tomorrow to be better than I was today. That's the whole goal, man. I think that's, even outside of a father, just being the best man I could possibly be for every aspect.
That's a fact. Lance, speak to some of your frustrations and how you cope with it.
I mean, like Nick said, it's a part of life. We're all human, I allow my children to see my frustration sometimes, but it's all about, it's a teaching moment for them because it's how you deal with it. You know what I mean? We talk about why we're frustrated a lot. You know what I mean? I just got to show them that it's okay to be frustrated, to make mistakes, learn from your mistakes. You know what I mean? There's always a lesson in everything. So man, I get frustrated. My wife gets frustrated. We all get frustrated. You know what I mean? That's something that happens to us as people. But like I said, you take it, you learn from it, you pray about it, and you try to figure out what God is trying to show you. You know what I mean? And it makes you stronger.
Nah, I love that, man. It's like understanding what the lesson is as you go, I think is essential. And DDG, you know what I'm saying, I was 27 when my son was born, so I was kind of right the same age as you with my firstborn, man. And that was tough, bro, because I was living in Connecticut at the time. I was working at ESPN. My son's in North Carolina, so that traveling back and forth, missing out on key moments, it was frustrating for me because, as men, alpha males, you want to be the best at everything. And I felt at the time when my son was in the younger stages, I felt like because I wasn't there every day, I wasn't being my best. It was frustrating. So I know with you balance a lot, traveling. Obviously, your family unit, both of y'all travel a lot. Just speak to some of the trials and tribulations and how you deal with that.
Well, we kind of split right now because she's shooting a movie. So, like, she just had him, so she kind of want him to be with her all the time. So I gotta, like, accommodate, her time and, how she feeling, and whenever she free and I'm free, I can go out there and like spend the weekend, and then, sometimes she might come back and then I keep him for a little bit. But I guess some frustrations where I would like to be like I would like to spend more time, I feel like a big frustration also is like the internet is kind of weird with me. So it's like, I don't be liking I can't show too much. Yeah. And then it's like, when I don't show my kid, people get mad. And then it's like, well, why do you care about seeing my kid that bad? But, I think my most frustrations come from outside opinions from people that don't even know me.
Bro, we support you. We're going to continue to give you pats on the back. You know what I'm saying? So, and again, we're talking about juggling things. I think our family village helps us with that a lot. That village, man, I'm telling you, like, it's a major key when it comes to raising these young kings and queens. So Lance, I'll come to you first. Just speak to how your village supports you in your fatherhood journey.
Man, I have a strong village. I mean, it started with my parents who were together for over 46 years. So having that, as a blueprint, it just, it kind of shaped my world. I have two beautiful twin sisters who are a part of my village, and just my friends. I got a good circle of friends, and I got hella friends, and all of them, the ones that have children, they're great fathers. Like, I'm proud of that, you know what I mean? Because it was this stigma that, black men don't take care of their kids. I don't know that, you know what I mean? And these are people that are living check to check to rich folk, you know what I'm saying? But all of them, they step up and they do what they need to do for their kids. And, we always hop on the phone if we need advice from each other, or, if we're going through something and, they might have been through it. So it's shoulders to lean on. And, all of us want well for each other, you know what I mean? And that's a beautiful thing to have your village like that, because as they say, it takes a village to raise a child. I got a great one.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Nick, again, like, I know your village is essential for you.
Man, I got my own village. Literally. We got a small metropolitan. Honestly, that's what it's all about at the end of the day. I mean, even more than saying I got a village, it's a tribe, you know what I mean? In that sense of when you take it back to the study and the energy of the diaspora, it really is those concepts of we're only, each of us is only strong as one of us. And in that sense of being there, I learned from the lineage of my father and his father and, all the men that operated as patriarchs, over our family. And all I know to do is with all of my children and being a provider, being a leader, and being that one, I love it. You know what I mean? I love every aspect of it. I love every challenge. I love every new idea, everything that's presented to me. So it's when you grow your village, when you have the ability to know that this is legacy building, this is something that, I'm not just doing it for me. It's not a selfish act, but it is a selfless act that every step I make is for the village, is for the tribe. So that's the concepts that I try to live by.
I love that, man. I love that answer. And again, that family unit is a major key. So DDG, I'm curious, man, just speak to how your family unit, your village is supporting you in your journey.
My mom is like a superhero. So she's the mother of 5 kids. And she's the greatest. So, whenever I get frustrated or, I feel like I need to go to the studio or I need to do something, I know I can always call my mom to watch my kid. Also, my brother, he's the father of my popular nephew. So, I got a lot of family. I made sure when I made enough money that I was able to bring my family to LA. So, that made it a lot easier for me because I'm from Michigan. Yeah. So, having my immediate family in LA down the street from me, and I could just, at any moment in time, if I need help, I know I can bring my son there and go do what I gotta do. That makes my life a lot easier.
Nah, that's real, man. That's real. I think for me, it's the same thing, bro. That village, bro, is a key. We're traveling a lot, so we need that support system, man. So, my mom right now is babysitting my son more. Shout out to little cuz. He helping out, too. He over there at the house right now, making sure he's entertained. It's you need that village. And I think, too, man, my BET family, sometimes I'm bringing my son on set. My director, she's over there. She's babysitting while we on set. You know what I mean? It's a team effort. So I'm curious for you guys, who's a woman in your lives that just make your journey easier?
Man, for me, my wife.
Yeah.
My wife, she a beast, you know what I mean? She makes me want to be a better father just because she does such a good job at being a mother. You know what I mean? When I'm off at work, you guys know, we get busy, and they got to hold it down, and she holds it down well. Also, my mother, I often have to put myself in check because, we might complain about, being busy or having this and that, the kids' schedule. But my mom and dad, they did it without a nanny, without a lot of childcare, without as much money as we may have, So I look back on that and damn, they really, I thought I was grinding. They was really grinding, you know what I mean? Because I got 2 kids. They had twins and me. And I know I was a handful, you know what I'm saying? So just navigating that whole thing, I look on that a lot. And it checks me, they did it. Yeah. And I got a nanny. I got 2 nannies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I shouldn't be complaining. So, yeah.
Nah, it's a fact. It's damn, it's y'all really got it easy. You know what I mean? Compared to how it used to be in the old days. Yeah. For real. Yeah. So, DDG, I'll come to you and then I'll go to Nick. What you think? Who's some of the women in your lives just making your life easier?
Well, Halle, for sure. She's a great mom. She I kind of we kind of compete on who's the better parent. She beat me right now. So, she's a great mom. She does everything for a first-time mom, So she's learning along the way, but she's a fast learner. I know I can always rely on her no matter what. I know my son is good if he were her. So, and my mom, like I said, she's always there. My sister, she's like a unpaid nanny. Whenever I need her, she's there. She's very loving and everything. And we also got a nanny. We got a night nurse, so I feel like that's essential. It's expensive, but I feel like it's worth every dollar because, you don't get no sleep with no newborns. You know that.
That's a fact. Who are some of the women in your lives that just make your journey easier?
All of them.
All of y'all.
No, you know what? And in all seriousness, I gotta, give respect and honor to every mother of my children. But if I'm gonna say where do I lean, or even where my tutelage comes from. It's definitely the matriarch of my family, my great grandmother, who's been a mother to us all, is 104 years old and still mobbing. She texts me every day. She got a cell phone. She be like hustling, like on in Kannapolis, North Carolina, like and really, it's so amazing when you see, cut from good stock, man. Like just how sharp she is, how she knows. I mean, she has hundreds of grandchildren, and she knows everybody's birthday. She knows how to stay in tune with everybody.
Sure.
So when you see somebody like that, still filled with so much life and still the leader of the family, like will call me every week and check me, and I heard you said this, and why you do this, and why you name that kid this, and like for someone to be that attentive and that loving, it's an example for everyone in the family, specifically even all the mothers. So, and the fact that we're blessed enough to still have her here at 104, you know what I mean? And a lot of people as they get older in age, you start to have to care for them and stuff, but she mama, she's grandma, she's all of that to so many. So, we're grateful for her. We celebrate her every day just to know, this, it's a true superhero. It's something that you really don't hear of. So, shouts out to Corrine Cannon, because she gets it right every time.
We are superheroes, and we have these superpowers, but we're not perfect. We're fathers, we're human. And so I'm curious for you guys, just speak to something that you want to improve on as you go through this journey. I think for me, man, it's just giving myself more grace, not getting so frustrated, understanding that this is a journey, and everything's not gonna come easily. It's gonna require work, 10 to 11 care. I think about my son now, he's in kindergarten, transition to first grade, and we sitting there. I don't know if you ever seen the meme where it's like, all right, if Jimmy got 3 apples and Tommy got 2, then how many apples he got? You know what I'm saying? So I found myself, we studied for this test, and I'm getting a little frustrated, you know what I'm saying? Because he just wasn't getting it. And he's a young child, you know what I'm saying? He's going through the process. He's hella smart. He's just going through the process. You know how it was when we was younger. Our mama be the same way, standing over our shoulder. And he was like, well, Dad, I'm trying. I was like, you right. You know what I'm saying? I had to take a step back, and it's like, okay, even though this test is tomorrow, let me just work through it with him. And we're parents, so we want our child to succeed, right? You want the best for your children. So sometimes we get so caught up in him just winning and being successful in these things that it's like, yo, it's okay. Speak to something that you want to improve on. For me, that was one thing I want to continue to improve on.
I mean, I think I got it down pat. But
That sound like somebody who 5 months in. Right. I got it. That's a fact. All right.
Yeah, I mean, people always, they be telling me terrible 2s, terrible 3s.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's gonna be the fun part. I feel like having a bad kid would be funny. I feel like it'll be kind of cool, but I don't know what I can improve on. I was gonna jump in and ask you, do you want your kid to go to college, or do y'all want your kids to go to college? Is that something that you gonna instill in his brain or her brain, you have to go to college?
Well, being a Howard grad, of course, I want my children to go to Howard. So you know. But I mean, of course, that's what I want for my kids. You know what I mean? But if they didn't want to go, if they want to, I don't know, do music or be an actress or actor, I'm gonna support that. You know what I mean? So sometimes you gotta take what you want out of the picture. Of course, you throw stuff out there, and if they catch on to it, they catch on to it. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna support my kids. So yeah.
I love that answer.
Yeah, you just want health, safety, and happiness in that order.
Right.
That's it.
You know what I mean? And once you realize that, it's not even in my control. All I can do is be the best example.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Even when you're talking about, improving, man, it's just really just spending time with God, you know what I mean? And really hearing the voice to be able to say and do all of the right things. And then in that balance, tapping into the mental wellness, because like you said, that's even what we sitting here discussing. Our flesh is gonna speak instantly. I'm like, ooh, I don't know if that was that was the right thing to say, or maybe the right, but if you just, allow however and whatever your process and the flow when you're parenting, you hope to make every decision, but we know we're gonna make mistakes. We know we're not gonna get it right every time. So that humbleness, but then at the same time, it's like, shoot, God help me. You know what I mean? Like that's really what I want to get more in tune with and more aligned with.
To circle back for a second, when I was talking about, just wanting my son to succeed so bad, right? I think I get that from my parents. They were old school. They wanted the best for me. They were on me. Like, studies was very serious. If you was gonna play a sport, you taking it very serious. Everything that I was involved in, we taking it very serious. And I think for us, we're younger now, so that's what I appreciate with Walmart and the Black Unlimited program is highlighting and pushing the narrative of progressive parents, right? So speak to kind of what you guys are doing in this new wave of parenting, when it comes to just being a progressive parent. I think for me, man, I'm a little bit more chill than my dad and my mom, right? It's like, with my mama, if my son he running around doing something, she like, stop that stuff. I'm like, Ma, you good, let him rock out, let him, let him get his energy out. Just speak to some things that you guys are doing when it comes to progressive parenting and letting your kids kind of, do their thing.
Yeah, obviously my family dynamic is super unorthodox, just based off of, it's not your traditional nuclear family that, and I wasn't, a part of it. I didn't witness that as a kid either. So I feel like the way I parent is just a reflection of who I am, you know what I mean? So I like to the same thing even Lance was saying, like I'm a big kid at heart at the end of the day. So I'm not trying to be friends with my kids, but I'm the fun dad. I'm the one, like when dad's home, it's a party, you know what I mean? We turning up. So I think to have that nature and to know that going back into creating quality core experiences. And like I said, we all sitting here as very blessed individuals to be able to even have the foresight to say my child has a choice to go to college or not, or my child has a choice to be this way or that way. A lot of brothers aren't blessed with that, and the struggle is real. And we all, I know both y'all brothers, we all come from stuff to where we have it better now than anybody else has ever had it in our family. So that allows us to kind of have that new age parenting because it's lighter. Our parents was hard on us because if we go outside, it's action. Yeah. It's tough out there. So they gotta say certain things. They gotta put certain parameters around us because they trying to keep us safe. Or we don't have the access to the vegan choices and the non-GMOs. We had to eat what the government was giving us, or we had to eat what we could go get at the corner grocery store. We have different experiences now. So it's a blessing, man, to be able to be like, oh, my children have whatever they want. They can be whatever they want. And that's a whole new style of, not even just because we're well off, it's just where the world is today. You know what I mean? That process of, I struggled quite a bit with, kids having access to, phones.
So it's just talking.
Yeah, but again, we look at it like, oh no, too much time or too much screen time. Yeah, but we didn't have screens. We had Game Boys. You know what I mean? Like, so now that's how we're all communicating. Everybody in here is on their phone. You know what I mean? Like, and that people are making millions of dollars, through social media and their devices. And so I can't, if my son wants to game, I'm looking like, you're gonna be the best gamer there is. You better let's give you the headset, the chair, whatever you need to do, because if that's the same way I want to train one of my sons who want to hoop, and if this one want a game, they making the same amount of money as a career and just as happy. So it goes back to those ideas that we have to think differently than our parents thought, because the accessibility to things that we have, it's a different world than that time. Keeping the same principles and understanding of like, we got to have the household operate in order, but we definitely gonna be a little bit more lenient because the world is a little more lenient.
It's crazy because I had cool parents, you know what I mean? But I'm a little cooler than my parents, you know what I mean? But it's crazy because like when I was growing up, we played out on the block, you know what I mean? Yeah. slumber parties. I would go to slumber parties. My kids ain't going to no slumber party
At all.
You know what I mean? I'm not gonna let them just run the neighborhood just because it's just different times right now. But my wife gets on me because I am the cool parent. But I'm a big believer of learning from your mistakes. Now I can control like the whole slumber party and all that stuff in the neighborhood, whatever. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's just a balance you gotta have. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, for
Daddy's
sure.
always gonna be cool. You know what I mean?
It's a good time over here.
That part.
It's
Like,
a good time.
it no matter where you got a son or a daughter, they gonna be like, they can't wait till daddy get home.
Yeah.
They, you know, it's that energy to where like the majority of the time, daddy is the first word because it's the easier word to say. But but it's just like we take so much pride in that, and then there's such a connection. They need daddy. They need that connection of like, all right, that the balance and the understanding of what the world is. And as the protector, we got to let them know this is what's coming up. So clearly it's our job to protect mommy while she's nurturing and then create that safe space. And then we got to step in and create parameters and boundaries. And, you know, even it's the resonance in our voice. You know what I mean? There's a difference to when you all see it when your kid running around and mom say, you better not do that. Don't run over there. And be like, hey, don't run over there. It's just different. Your child is going to react differently to our tone than it would be to mom's tone. So those are the things like, you know, even when my kid was 5 months old, I took a page right out of Martin's book. I was like, hey, look, you going to recognize his voice because they know as soon as they hear that bass, in that voice, you got the super deep voice. Like when they hear that, that's gonna be like, yo, they know you don't have to be aggressive with your discipline and nothing, just the tone in the father's voice.
It sends a message.
You know what I mean? And that's one of those superpowers. That's one of those things where you don't even have to raise your voice. It's just the weight in your voice sparks the energy in your child that they have to automatically innately respect.
Nah, for sure. DDG, what's some of your progressive parenting styles?
Man, I feel like I'm gonna be the most lenient parent ever. I think it's because I got
You're
a son.
so laid back.
Nah, you mad too.
I feel like it's because I got a son, though. I feel like I'd be a lot more strict if I had a daughter. But you know, that's why I asked about the college thing, because I ain't gonna tell my kid he gotta go to college. Like, I'm gonna tell him, I went to college. And I was valedictorian in high school too, so I was like big on academics. But, you know, when I got to college, I realized like, you know, thinking outside of the box could be more beneficial, and I took the chance and dropped out. And, you know, I'm where I'm at today. So I feel like when it comes to school, I want my kid to sneak out the house. All of that stuff it helps you become a man. So, you know, I feel like as he gets older, I'm gonna start when I start seeing him do little things, I'm gonna be a lot more lenient and let him learn his lesson. So I think that's
actually really wise. That's what they say. Like, you can't overprotect, because you gotta, even the same thing, you gotta let your kids be as active as they want. And it's not, you don't try to prevent them from falling, it's you let them fall and then you show them what picking them up and getting back up is like. If you're too overprotective, they'll never know what it feels like. And then when you're not there, then it's like, what do? It's like, so you allow your kids to be active, you allow them to, like, and especially as men too, you want go out there and fall a little bit, like cry a little bit, we gonna get you back up, but you gotta know what that experience is like, because mom might coddle them a little, you know, like, because that's her nature to be like, I want to make sure that they never hurt. I want to make sure, but you want them to feel a little something.
Scrapes and all that.
Because that creates the armor that they need when they step outside. So, you know, you can't. That's good intuitive thinking right there.
Nah, I love that, man. Like you said, I think just letting them learn how to learn from their own lessons and what they go through in life. That's something that my dad did a lot for me growing up. And Lance, I want to come to you, man, because for me, you know, my dad passed away. I lost my dad right in front of me, bro, when I was 18. So then fast forward 10 years later, I had my son. So I know for you, your father passed away like the year before you had your son. So just for me, man, it's like, even though my dad's been gone.
You did some research. Look at that.
Hey, we do our research here, you know what I'm saying? So I'm curious for you, man, just speak to how your dad influenced your parenting.
Man, like I said, man, my dad is and was my superhero. You know what I mean? My dad, he was diagnosed with dementia. He passed in 2017 before he was able to meet my son. But man, it's crazy because my son is so much like my father, and it's crazy. I named my son Lennon Lauren Gross. I didn't want to make him a junior. I wanted to give him his own, you know what I mean? But I thought it was important to have my father's name. So my father's name was Lauren. It's just, my dad was everything to me, you know what I mean? And when I look at this fatherhood thing, I just try to be at least a high percentage of what my father was. And then if I could do that, then I know I'm doing this shit amazing. You know what I mean? Because that's how I feel about my dad. And it's crazy. One thing, I went to see because I took it hard. I mean, you lose somebody that is that big in your life, you know, it hits you. But one thing I was always wondering was why he didn't visit me in a dream. You know what I mean? That's, I don't know. But so I went to New Orleans, I went to see a medium, and she was like, you know, your dad visits you all the time. He comes as a butterfly. And it's crazy because I talked to my sister and I told my sister, she was like, wow, last night I had a dream about a butterfly. And it's crazy. So now with our kids, we got a garden in the front of our house, and you know, butterflies that just come visit, and you know, they'll be like, man, that's granddad. You know what I'm saying? So it's like my father lives on, you know what I mean? And it's beautiful to see. And my son, he asked so many questions about my father, and you know, and that opens up the conversation to God and heaven. And you know, it's even though he's never met my father, he's under his wings. You know what I'm saying? And that's it's moving for me.
No,
you know what I mean?
That's beautiful, man. Cause you can feel it. You can feel it. You know what I mean? You feel it.
Every time we see a butterfly, and even when I'm stressed at work, or you know, what we do is hard. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we be on location shooting outside, and I'm just not getting it. I see a butterfly, and I just calm. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sorry to go into all that.
Nah, I feel that, man. I resonate with that. That spirit is real, man. You can see the love and the compassion that you share for your family, and all of that makes sense. I mean, people who have a spiritual alignment can completely understand that.
Nah, for sure, man. Like I said, man, to circle back, for me, man, with my dad, like, you know, so I'm having my son, you know what I'm saying? My brother, I have an older brother, but he didn't have kids. So my dad, you know, he's gone. So like, I had to do this dad journey on my own, bro. Like I didn't have another man I could come to really seek advice, to just guide me, to tell me what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong. So it's like, I'm just trying to figure it out, bro. And it's funny you were talking about the butterfly story. Man, my son, like, he'll literally just like randomly when he's drawing things of the family, like he always makes sure to like draw my dad. And I'll be like, well, who's that right there? Well, that's Grandpa Will. He'll put the wings on there. And it's just, man, it mean a lot when you know your kids can still resonate. They still feel connected to somebody that they never even met. How have you just been able to navigate being a parent without having that just, you know, it's your dad. You can't call him. It's crazy we take this luxury of just being able to, like, I remember just being in the house saying dad, or being in the house yelling mom. You take that for granted. It's something we just do without even thinking about it. When I get back home, be like, yo, mom, I'm here. Bro, it's gonna be a day that you don't be able to do that. So just speak to the trials and tribulations that you have dealt with as in your journey. You know, you just don't have your father to lean on through that.
You know, there's so many conversations I wish I could have with my dad, and even though he's not here, having kids, I could relate to him so much more now, because a lot of stuff, I have clarity about a lot of stuff. Like when he was frustrated, and you know, he didn't want me to ever see him frustrated or cry, but I did. You know what I'm saying? And now, even without having a conversation with him about it, I understand it, because I get what he's going through. You know, putting food on the table, making sure I was good. You know, it's hard. It's hard not having your dad. You know what I mean? But I do have my mother, and that's a blessing. I have my sisters, and that's a blessing. You know, whenever I find myself missing my dad, I just call moms and we talk about stories, or my sisters that tell me stories, you know what I'm saying? So he's here. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not in the physical, but he's here for sure. I feel him.
Legacy lives on, man. Nick and DDG, I'm curious for you guys, who are just some of the males in your life just whether it be father figure, brothers, friends, that you know have helped you in your journey on fatherhood?
Shoot, well, my brother, you know, he had when he had a son, it was kind of weird because, you know, it's like, you know, we in the house, we just chilling as kids, you know, we just like kids. And then he had a kid, and I just seen how he was a father, even though like growing up, we didn't have too much, but he was like working at Comcast at the time, and, you know, he was making sure he got home, and, you know, we was like incorporating his son in our videos and stuff like that. And it was just, when I see him as a father, like, I kind of look up to that, because him and my nephew name is Woo-Up, and him and Woo-Up is like best friends. Like, they talk like homies. Like, that's the type of connection I want to have with my kid. I don't want to, like, obviously I'm his dad, you know, and if he do something wrong, I'm gonna tell him about it. But I want him to tell me like, hey, you know, oh, I met this girl, man, and woo, and what should I do? And then I tell him, and, you know, or he can tell me like when he did something wrong, and I can talk to him about it, and you know, and we can be like homies more than just like, do this, do that. No, that's wrong, you know. So I definitely look up to how my brother is a father to his kid, and I kind of want to reciprocate that for mine.
Nah, I love that. Nick?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. My father is dope. But he also, like, my parents had me when they were still in high school. I went to my dad's high school graduation. So his father was the father to both of us, you know what I mean? And he really was like the patriarch. He was the one, you know, they called Daddy Cannon. Like he was a real one. They called him Lonesome in the streets. I got it tatted on my neck, so it's like they always called me like Lil Lonesome type of thing. When I got to watch a real dude move and be a father to you know, he has 5 kids, and like really just even watch him father my father, you know what I mean? Because really, like I said, we a very young family, and you know, when he passed on and everything, it was life changed for me, because it was like, even within the family dynamic, he was the one that everybody went to, you know what I mean? Like, if you needed something, you needed to talk, he was diesel dude, all of that type of stuff. So even from protection and everything, so that energy shifted. And even as, you know, speaking of, you know, your experiences and both of y'all sharing your losses, it's still like, even, you know, my father is still, we rock every day, but even knowing, like, I watched when he lost his father, what that did to him and what that did to our entire family dynamic. And it's like, even having to step up and be like, all right, we're gonna take every lesson that he taught all of us and put it forth. So it's just like, it's good to have some form of patriarch, you know, some form of family leader in whatever it is, whether it's your brother, your immediate father, your grandfather. Like, it's always somebody that kind of run, especially a black family. It's all everybody, the person you go to gonna give you a couple of dollars, the person you go, the one person, whatever going on, they can make one phone call and make it go away, you know what I mean? Like those type of individuals, and now I feel like I'm that for my family, and even obviously for all of my children. I've taken that on, you know, with great valor, to be like, yo, I can get it done. If you know, I try not to tell anybody no. I'm like, yo, we gonna figure it out. And I got that from, you know, from my grandfather.
Nah,
Yeah.
for sure, nah.
Yeah.
I love that, man. And like I said, man, like, shout out to y'all for like doing what you guys are doing. You know what I'm saying? We do the best what we can with the cards that we're dealt, right? And you guys are stepping up and doing what you need to be doing. And like, again, you know, my dad was a great dad, you know, but he wasn't perfect, right? And I think one of the things that like resonate with me, one of our conversations we had in my teenage years is, you know, my dad, you know, he had 2 previous kids before me, my brother and my sister. And he was like, you know, when I had you, I felt like I got a 3rd chance at being a parent. And bro, like, those words have like stuck with me all my life. And so I always, when I found out I was having my son, it was non-traditional, you know, but I said, I vowed to myself, I said, yo, I'm gonna get it right on the 1st child. So I bring that up to say, you know, you guys, Nick and DG, it's untraditional. I know you have the family unit, but it's still untraditional. Speak to like how you guys navigate, and Nick, I'll come to you first, you know, showing up being a parent, even though your situations wasn't traditional. It's not the traditional family unit that we're all grown and accustomed to.
Yeah, man. I deal with it daily. You know what I mean? Study stoicism quite a bit. And Marcus Aurelius said, you know, let's not spend time arguing about what is a good man, just be one.
Preaching.
You know what I mean? Because everybody gonna have different opinions of how you should father or how you should just walk the walk, just be it. You know what I mean? I don't owe anybody any explanation of how I father except for my children. And long as the connection is there for them, and you know, whatever the challenge, whatever the, you know, long as they're happy with their father, long as they know their father loves them, it's not gonna be traditional. It's not gonna be orthodox. We gonna bump heads. We gonna go through some stuff. But one thing every single one of my children will know is that I love them unconditionally. And the fact that it is untraditional or non-traditional and unorthodox, it's gonna allow them to be whoever they want to be. You know what I mean? Because I'm not I can't. You know, who am I to judge? You know, so it's gonna be an easier dynamic for them to be like, yo, Dad, I just got into this, or Dad, I did this, because they know I'm gonna be real with them, because I'm not perfect. So I can never expect you to be perfect. I want you to be better than me. You know what I mean? Like, but it's definitely that process of, even as a family, I constantly say, like, we gotta go through it together, and we ain't gonna just go through it, we gonna grow through it.
Respect to you for how you handle and navigate that, man. I know it's a lot. DDG, for you, like, you know, I know you had the family unit, but some people would consider that non-traditional. So, like, just share how you kind of navigate that.
I mean, it's really like, I feel like it really doesn't affect the parenting. You know, I feel like,
You know, if you speaking on
Oh, yo, I thought you, bro, I was like, what's happening right now? Yo, what? Yo, I thought you was dead serious just now. Like, I'm looking at nigga like, yo, what's going on?
Nah, that's how I really talk, but I usually talk like this for like
The switch up was
It's crazy. Do you ever talk like that to the kid, to the little one?
yeah, that's how I talk at home.
but when I get on like when I do like content and I'm working and stuff, I feel like this is more calming, it's more like normal. So, you know, growing up it was definitely a struggle, you know, using my actual voice, but you know, when I do stuff like this, I like to speak like this, but I felt a little comfortable. I don't want to make y'all feel uncomfortable.
I got a question. So when you get in an argument, what voice is it?
I mean, it depends. Like, you know, I kind of, you know, I use this voice at home. So, you know, if I get in an argument, you know, I come off like that because it comes off more stern and more like, you know, like being serious. I'm not laughing though, you know.
Respect. How does the lady like the voice?
What'd you say?
How does wifey like the voice?
I mean, yeah, it's normal. It's normal at this point. But to get back to your question though, I feel like the non-traditional thing is kind of just outside opinions. My situation kind of just happened.
You know, so we had to make the decision.
You got
The switch up.
Yo, bro, you really surgical with that.
Talk about non-traditional.
You're not. My bad, go ahead though.
Yeah, I feel like we just, you know, we had to make a decision.
For sure, man. And like, just circle back on that, like, you know, you're in a high profile relationship.
Yeah.
And you're navigating parenthood in that with a young infant. Is it ever just a lot to deal with? Because obviously, you know, you got online people giving their opinions. The world is watching you guys' every move. Just speak to, like, you know, how you navigate that.
Well, like online,
Yeah.
I mean, it's difficult.
There's a lot of people in our business, and it's like, I don't know what it is. It's just weird, bro. You know, it's like, you don't know us. And I know what it's, but at the same time, like, I don't blame people too much, because I used to be that person in my room on Twitter, tweeting at celebrities, you know what I'm saying? And just praying they see it. You know, oh, they gonna see this, woo, woo, woo. And so I get it. I feel like people do it because they don't think, you know, public figures can see it. Because every time I notice it, you know, they say, oh, I'm a big fan, bro. I didn't really mean it, you know? Or it's like, they're just surprised, you know, and it's something that they tell all their friends when they go back home or go to school or something like that. So I don't blame them too much because I've been in their shoes before, but it's definitely annoying. It does affect, sometimes it does affect real life, and it might cause a discussion inside the home, So it's like, it's just knowing when to turn off social media and when to just say, you know what, bro, when I turn my phone off, none of this really matters. It's like you don't mean nothing to me. Yeah. And I have never ever in my entire life of content living have anybody ever came up to me and said any of that stuff to my face.
Oh yeah, it ain't gonna be to your face.
Never that, man. Respect to how you handle that, man. I know it can be a lot with the social media, man. You handle it well, and like, you know what I'm saying? I know people always want to see, oh, let us see. And it's like, yo, y'all gonna do that on your time. Yeah. You know what I mean? So keep standing on business. How you doing?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's a universal law that low frequency is more attractive. And it's unfortunate because that's what algorithms are built off of, but I guarantee you there's so many more people who love you than who have adversity towards what you're going through. It's just that we don't see that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's one of those things where it's, even I say people in comments they're extremes. They either really, really love you or they really, really dislike you. The people who are just existing don't really have time to get to the comments like that. But when they see you in person, they're gonna give you the respect, they're gonna give you the love because that's the innate nature of it. But for whatever reason, low frequency, it's so much of that down there to kind of fly above that and be elevated. You're already that individual. So you gotta look at it as like, whatever they're saying, they're still fans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You still making them feel a certain type of way. And I always say, pigeons will never understand how eagles soar, and lions don't lose sleep over the opinions of sheep. So it's like when you operate from that essence, that you know what you signed up for. You are a public figure. So I salute, you and the mother of your child, man, because you guys handle it in a regal manner. You know what I mean? And you do it really well. You lean into the comedy oftentimes. She's very queen-esque how she handles it and feels like you guys are untouchable in a manner, man. You got to keep that going, and especially to protect the little one, man. You guys you're doing a phenomenal job, man.
You gotta let it flow off you like water with the comments. I used to have to check myself, man. It'd be like thousands of positive comments, and
we focus
I'll be focused on the negative, the one negative or 20 negatives.
Yeah,
but you just gotta, man, create your own bubble, man.
Yeah.
Just live in your bubble. Come out when you want to.
Facts.
That negativity stick out for sure.
Yeah.
Responding to it is like fuel for the fire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what they want.
I just look at it as like, it's some movies I might see a character and I don't like the character. You know? It's like, I don't like, there's some things you did in Love Don't Cost a Thing that I didn't like.
Like what?
What you trying to say, DDG?
That was a classic, by the way. I'm just saying.
Hey, the voice don't come. Hey.
You're going to bring the voice back.
Yeah, I feel like DDG and who I am in real life is two different people. Like,
Facts.
y'all see me off camera, I'm chill. Like, I'm chilling. But, you put a camera in my face, I'm gonna perform. That's what I'm paid to do. How I'm here. So, it's just a big difference. I feel like if a lot of people was to meet me in person, they'd get a different perspective, because the internet can definitely flip and exaggerate a lot of negative things that's really not what it looked like,
That's a fact. And Nick, I mean, stranger to that too. You deal with the same thing when it comes to social media. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes I'm an OG with it.
You know what I mean?
I was yelling at people on MySpace.
For sure, man. You get a lot of flack, but you handle it well, man. So how do you make sure, because you're juggling a lot, how do you make sure that your children have a relationship with each other?
Yeah, man. That's one of my priorities, you know what I mean? But again, I gotta do it with compassion and empathy, because one thing you never want to do, even no matter how many children you have or how many baby mamas you have, you never want to generalize. Even when I've learned with parenting, you want to give everybody their individual time, because when you think about it, me bringing everyone together truly only benefits me the most. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, oh, well, I want everybody to come to me for Christmas. So I want everybody, like, that is easier for me. But what I've learned, and even as a child and even as a parent, every child wants to have an individual relationship with their parent. So I focus more on, okay, I'm gonna show up and be there on Mondays for this basketball practice, and Tuesdays I'm gonna make sure I'm going to dance rehearsal, and Wednesday, you know, for different, because that time, or just a ride in the car with your 4 or 5 year old, or just like, because they get that time, because when you have multiple children, everybody's vying for daddy's attention. And then those conversations of like, well, you did this with this, and so as much as I love the big gatherings and we do all get together, and you know, I'm blessed enough to where I can rent out amusement parks and arcades.
Hey man, invite me when you
Yeah, you know,
I'll be in a separate
yeah, and it's
amusement
if you don't get along, you go ride that ride, and they're gonna be, you know. So, but it's a beautiful scenario. I cherish the individual time. And even, you know, my first children were twins, you know, and a boy and a girl, and they're 13 now. And I even would have to figure out, like, all right, this is the time with me and my son, and this is the time with me and my daughter, because they're always with someone else. And just as individuals, human beings, we don't want to be generalized. We don't want to always hear about the kids. We want to, you know, learn everybody's name and don't forget them in public. You know what I mean? So it's those ideas where you just want to make sure you treat everybody like an individual, and really only understand that, you know, when bringing everybody together is really only for me. And selfishly, I do want that, and I don't demand it, because I respect everybody, especially the mothers of my children, their time and their energy. They may not want to show up when I want them to show up. They have their own schedules, their own careers, their own lives. So, you know, I can say, you plan it, like, hey, I would love to do a great family day, you know, in June or in July, Father's Day, you know, like, I would love everybody to come to me, but because I created this lifestyle, I got to make sure that they have an individual relationship with their father, and it's not their burden to come to me, but it's my duty to go to them.
Yeah, I think that's super important, just carving out that time. I mean, I only got 2.
Right.
And they, you know, just when they spend so much time in the house together and they clash or whatever, but, you know, me being the cool dad, I always want to create core memories for my children. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, growing up, my mom we couldn't really afford Jordan. So when I got money, I was just spending on Jordans. Every pair I saw. So, you know, you want to be better. So my daughter would start mentioning like, oh, I like Paris. I want to go to Paris one day. And, you know, she was saying, I'd be like, you ain't going to Paris. But then I started thinking like, why not? This would be a great opportunity for me to, you know, really bond with my daughter, get her away from Lennon so she could have her one-on-one time with me. So I presented it to my wife. I didn't think she was gonna take it like she took it. I thought she was gonna go, I wanna go to Paris. But she was cool. She was like, no, you should take her to Paris. So my daughter is a Swiftie. She loves Taylor Swift. I found out that Taylor Swift had a show in Paris. Her European tour was opening in Paris. So I was like, you know what? I'm a kill 2 birds in one stone and take my daughter to Paris. But it was the most amazing thing I've ever got to do. You know what I mean?
That's
just
dope.
Solo time with her. I was opening doors for her, teaching her how table etiquette. I was teaching her so many things, but it was like
never forget
the cool
that.
way. And it's a core memory for her. I mean, and now my son, he's like, I want to go to Paris too. It's
at the bar high, black man.
You know what I mean? But man, I don't regret it, man. Now it's gonna be a thing, you know. Now she wants to go to Tokyo. I'm gonna take her to Tokyo. You know what I'm saying? But I want them to see the world. Just you know, allow them to dream and be curious about travel. And you know, and I look like the cool dad. You know what I'm saying?
Dope.
But I'm curious, you know, on a slightly serious note, you know, and it could be a funny story too. Can you just share an experience with your child that made you emotional?
Man, I'm a crybaby, man. So like,
Me too.
I'm an actor, so like, the emotions be going. I cry at the sight of potty training. You know what I mean? Like any achievement, I'm tearing up just because of the process. And even that, it's that innate feeling in me, like when I talk about like the presence and quality. So like every moment I get with my kids, especially having lost a child, you know what I mean? Like you get those moments where you're like, man, I love and cherish every experience. Yeah, and so I'm always I'm crying every day at some point, you know what I mean? Because it's usually there's so much love, you know what I mean? And when children have this unconditional way of just expressing how much they care for you. So like, I pick up my daughter from school every day, and it never fails. Like as soon as I walk into the classroom, she just run into me, Daddy, and just, like there's nothing like Daddy and them jumping into your arms. All right, we good. You ready? Go get your bag. You know what I mean? Because it's like you know those moments. You know what it means to her, and then you know what really like. Man, I'm gonna cherish this forever. A couple years, she ain't gonna be running and jumping in my arms like that. So I literally am crying every day about something. So I mean, and I love it, man. I love being able to express that emotion, and even for my kids to see it.
Yeah. Nah, for sure. Lance?
For me, it's my son's curiosity with my father. I put him to bed at night. We say a prayer, and at those moments are when he has the most questions about my dad. And I ain't gonna put it down, but he always asks like, Dad, show me a picture of Grandpa when he was a kid. And I always tell him like, he was old. He ain't got no pictures as a kid. You know what I'm saying? I gotta really dig for that. But it's just. I always get emotional because he asks so many questions about him. He's so curious about him, and it's like it's dope. It's dope.
Nah, for sure. What about you?
Mine would be like.
Did you cry at the birth?
I didn't cry. No.
You cried?
No, I swear to God, I didn't.
What?
I watched I pulled my son's head out too. Yeah. So I was like.
I had that opportunity too.
Yeah. I was.
They
able
tricked
to,
me into that.
Yeah.
I was telling him I ain't looking
It
down
didn't
there.
look real to me.
Yeah.
Like when
the
it
doctor
don't
really
look
tricked
real,
me though.
do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely.
I mean, it's real, but it's like it looked like.
Did y'all do it at the hospital or y'all did it at the crib?
Hospital.
Oh yeah. I've done multiple different.
Well, you had a lot of times.
Yeah. Like at the hospital, it's a little easy. Like the hospital, I got to act like I was in there. You know what I mean? Like when you do it at home, they got the midwife and stuff, and you're worrying about other things because you're not at a hospital. So, but I've had and then when you have twins, a lot of times you got to have a C-section, so that process is even a little different as well too. Yeah. So I've seen it a bunch of different ways, and I cried every time. And it just I'm a crybaby, but it's just like you feel God in the room when that happens.
Nah,
like,
for sure.
It puts life into perspective.
Hey, Didi, what's the moment though that got you emotional? I know you said it wasn't a birth.
The birth didn't necessarily make me. I was just curious. Like I was like, this can't be real. Like what the hell going on? But I would say when my son said Dada.
Oh, I saw that.
Y'all got hype.
Yeah. Because I didn't think he was gonna say it. I just kept saying it, and he was just. You could tell like he was trying. Like man, what the hell you want me to say, bro? You want me to just say what you saying? You could tell he was like looking at me like, oh, Dada. And I was like, oh man, that's crazy. Like, so that was definitely like the most emotional that I've been.
Nah, for sure. Nah, it's emotional. And Nick, you brought up the childbirth. That can be an emotional time. For the fathers and for the mothers. Yeah. And that actually sparked a question for me that I wanted to touch on is what women deal with the postpartum. And I know with you, Halle, she has expressed how she has dealt with that. I'm curious, man, and you guys can chime in too as well. What have you done to kind of support her when she was going through that postpartum journey?
It's just being patient, man. Just just keeping that in mind when you going through something with her, or going through, like maybe I might have a little disagreement or something, or, we might butt heads here and there, but, I try my best to be as patient as possible because I know, like, it's something extracurricular going on in the head, and that just comes with giving birth. So, I'll just say just being patient with it.
That's a great one. I would add to that the next P is being present. You know what I mean? Like that. A lot of times they just want someone there. You know what I mean? Whether they want to yell at you, or they want to cry on your shoulder, or they just want to know that they feel seen, they feel heard, and that they're allowed to feel however they want to feel in that moment. I've learned that because I'm naturally a retreater. You know what I mean? If something going down, I'm like, I'll be back. You know what I mean? And like, that's not really the thing to do. I'm trying to keep the peace, so I fall back. Yeah. But sometimes you gotta lean in, especially in those times of, emotions and being there to be like, it's funny, man, because no matter how you do it, and even with postpartum and even during the pregnancy, women take note. They take note of where you are, what you did, how you did it, and they will never forget it. And they will always remind you. And if it's a beautiful thing of like, you were there, and I appreciate you for being there. You let me do this to you, and this and that, and you know, I woke you up in the middle of the night, and you went and got this for me. Like but they also remember the times where they needed you and you weren't there.
That's a fact.
So I try to, you know, I try to be there more than, and I've learned that, you know what I mean? That lesson has hit me quite a bit, because the fact that a lot of times we are gone, and then it's my nature to be like, oh, she tripping a little bit. I'll be back, you know what I mean? But now I've learned, like, nah, it's not, you gotta be there, you gotta be present, and that's what being a man and being a father is about.
That's a fact.
You know, for your woman.
That's a fact. Lance?
I would say being understanding and gentle. You know, if you don't understand, try to create an understanding. I say gentle because I got myself into trouble during my wife's second pregnancy. She had gestational diabetes, and I'm trying, as a man, you know, we kind of push each other like, you got this, and I was trying to do that, but I was like, you know, it's not that hard. We just gonna. I didn't say it like that, but basically what I was trying to say is I got you, I'm gonna help you through this, but I didn't say it the right way.
That's so crazy.
And she took it like, it really affected her, and I was just like, oh, okay, so I have to watch my approach. I can't take the approach that I normally would, you know what I mean?
It's so crazy that you say that, because for one of my children, we did a pre-birthing class, and it was that exact thing. She was like, don't say, you got this.
Yeah.
Say, I got you.
Yeah.
In that process. And it's like, when you hold, like, because you got this sounds like you on your own.
Yeah.
And they need
And that's how she took
support
it.
doing it. She's like, it's crazy that you said that, because that's the exact thing. And I never, from that day, I've never said you got this.
Yeah.
It's like, I got you. We got this.
Or we gonna get it. We gonna get through it together.
Yeah. But when you say you got this, you isolating.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Man.
That's some words of wisdom right there, man. And like I said, man, I know you fresh in this thing, bro. So best advice I can give, bro, is just, you know, when you're dealing with that journey, you know, I don't know if she's still dealing with that, but, you know, it's a journey, bro. Have patience. Just keep showing up. And, you know, on a lighter note, just always know she don't really mean it, right? You know what I'm saying? She just, like Nick said, they just want that, they need you there. So don't take it personal. Keep showing up how you showing up, bro. From what I see, bro, you're a great father, man. It's beautiful to see. And all you guys are great fathers from what we see, man. I just truly appreciate what you guys are doing. It's inspiring for me to see other black men just, you know, standing on business when it comes to parentalhood, man. Like, I just love to see that. And I appreciate Walmart for taking the time with their Black and Unlimited program.
Likewise.
For just highlighting progressive parenting and black men. I think it's much needed in the community. I couldn't think of a better company for us at BET to partner with for this, man. This is what for the fellas is about, man. We here, we fellowshipping, we're educating each other, enlightening each other, and having each other's back. You know what I mean? And I think, you know, I just appreciate
holding
this
space for each other.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Holding each other down, man. I
it.
truly appreciate each one of you sitting down with us, man, just sharing your stories. I know somebody out there is gonna feel the testimony from you guys. I know somebody out there is gonna learn from this, and know that we swinging with you. Know there's a journey every day in this fatherhood journey, but you're doing enough. And I, again, just appreciate you guys being here from the BET family. I think we speak for everybody here. We appreciate y'all, man.
Likewise.
Absolutely, man. It's been a blessing.
Advice that I could give to a father is, you got this. I mean, none of us are perfect. We're all learning as we go. Just love your babies and lead with kindness, and you will succeed at that. Also, old heads would always tell me it goes fast. So now I'm gonna be that old head and tell you that it goes very fast. Enjoy every moment.
Some insight that I have as a father is that, you know, we are all a community, and we learn from one another in this process. So I would just encourage each and every father out there to continue to shine. Matthew 5:16 says, let your light shine amongst men so that they can see your good works and give all glory to the Father, the true Father in heaven. And I think that's what we gotta understand, man. Just shine as much as you possibly can, and through adversity, through all the challenges, hold your head high, be stoic, and be purposeful.
My advice that I can give to a young father would be to be patient, to also treat the mother of your child with respect, and kind of think of it as like, you know, how would my kid feel if I said this to his mom in front of him? Or how will my kid feel about this? Because, you know, the mom is really the nurturer. So be patient, have fun with it more than anything, and don't be scared. You know, it's a blessing. There's people out here that can't even have kids. So, you know, I feel like a lot of young fathers take it as like a curse, or they take it as like, oh, I got a kid on the way, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Thinking of it as like a life-changing experience, because being a father definitely changed my life. I'm DDG.
I'm Lance Gross.
I'm Nick Cannon, and you're watching For the Fellas on BET.
I'm Brian McIntosh. Thank you for watching our Father's Day edition of For the Fellas, presented by Walmart.
Yeah, one more time.
3, 2, 1.
I'm DDG.
One time. I guess. Ready?
3, 2, 1.
I'm DDG, and you're watching For the Fellas.
I'm Brian McIntosh. Thank you all for watching our special. I'm Brian McIntosh, and thank y'all for watching our special edition of For the Fellas, sponsored by Walmart.
Special Father's Day edition.
I'm Brian McIntosh. Thank you guys for watching our special Father's Day edition of For the Fellas, sponsored by Walmart. Presented by Walmart. I'm Brian McIntosh. Thank y'all for watching our special edition of For the Fellas, presented by Walmart. I'm Brian McIntosh. This is going in the bloopers too. It's going in the bloopers. I'm Brian McIntosh.